Mhm.
Zandra, thank you for joining us from Hawaii. I know it's quite early for you. We jumped on the call like 30 minutes ago and it was actually dark, but the sun has risen now. Um, okay, so everyone, thank you for joining. As I said, this is going to be a full hour going over Nucamp, answering your questions. It's crazy, actually. I'm seeing the number of questions that people have queued, like Turtle Wolf, plenty of questions here, Darius as well. We're going to get to your questions later in this stream, actually, exactly in 30 minutes after we present to you Nucamp, and maybe we'll actually have answered many of your questions as we go through the first 30 minutes of this presentation. But without much overdue, let's get going. I am Ludo Faraj, Chief Executive Officer and founder of Nucamp. And with me, Zandra Kubota, who's been with us for quite a while now, starting actually delivering courses in Hawaii, before COVID, and also a Nucamp advisor. So
Mhm.
you may have discussed with Zandra online or via email. Thank you for being here, Zandra.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So let's get started. First question: what is New Camp? This is the number one question you probably are asking yourself, although you probably have a hint that we are coding bootcamp, but you also probably have figured out that we're not like most coding bootcamps out there. The very first thing that really differentiates us, and we're leading with this, and we are very proud of this, is our social mission to really help anyone in the industry, any career shifter, really help them enter the digital economy. And
Mm.
that social mission is really backed by the fact that we are the most affordable. You can actually learn with us and actually get ready for a career in tech in 22 weeks for less than $2,000. So that's very much really the basics of who we are and what we do. From the beginning, we've built an experience, a community that's really affordable, also local to you and flexible. Local pre-COVID, I would say, where we were in 35 cities offering our Saturday workshops in person. We are 100% online right now, uh, and flexible because we are part-time, part-times and weekends, which means you don't have to quit your job, which means you don't have to also take a loan given the low tuition. And so that's very much a big differentiator for us. And then I think it's been 5 months now that we are the number one rated coding bootcamp in the US. If you look us up and look for graduate reviews, woohoo, yeah, on Course Report or Curakarma, you're going to see us there. All student reviews are their own. We're not paying for them. We're not telling them what to do. We're not forcing them to do it. We are providing the link and say, hey, if you like what we did, please submit your reviews there. And they do. And it's always enjoyable to see their feedback. All right. And also, I know many of you are comparing, New Camp with other options. And so we want to help you with that and think through all the options you have and where we fit. The very first option that you are considering or have considered before in the past is joining an online website. You know them. It's Udemy, Udacity, Coursera, edX, Team Treehouse, Code Academy. There's a plethora of platforms out there that offer you great content, really great content from great people, great YouTubers as well, at a very, very low price. And I would say, if you're very new, 100% brand new to coding, you should start there because it's super cheap. You can go there, sign up, and have access to really fantastic content. And that's going to really get you a great idea and prepare you for what comes next. The problem with online learning, though, is very, very few people are able to stick through it because life gets in the way, because you don't have the support that you're seeking at critical time, because you don't have an instructor, you don't have classmates. It's a very lonely experience to learn online on your own. And only 3% kind of enjoy it. 3% of anyone trying enjoy it. and actually complete their goal and achieve their goals. So for the rest, the 97% who will try that first, but probably won't get through the end, what are the other options? Well, very quickly, you're going to consider the alternative to online bootcamp, which is traditional bootcamps. And by traditional bootcamps, I really mean traditional school. You could think about college or just a regular coding bootcamp. That's going to be full time. That's going to offer you a very immersive experience, full time with an instructor, uh, and it's going to take you like 3-4 months. You're going to hear scary stories about having to learn 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, including the weekends. And it's very actually effective and engrossing if you can afford to do that, which is really the other side of the coin. Great experience potentially, although with COVID, most of them are online and you don't really get that same immersion and really the impact of in-person learning. But still, despite all that, the cost can be very prohibitive. It's typically $12,000, $15,000, sometimes $30,000 if you're taking an ISA. Those coding bootcamps are city-based. So if you have one in your city, great. If you don't, you're going to look into commuting. It's not going to be fun. And so you're going to wonder, okay, is it worth it? And then, as I said, many of those bootcamps are really offering an immersive experience, meaning a full-time experience. And that works if you're out of a job. And then in that case, you have to find the money, which is still tough. But if you have a job, even though it's not the job you want or the job you like, still the job that pays your bill, and you're really faced with having to make a decision. Am I taking the risk, leaving that job to learn full time, hoping for a better future? It's a big gamble. I mean, some of you have families, etc. So it's not always an easy decision to make. And actually, it's very often a very hard decision to make. And so we recognize that problem. Like on one hand, super affordable, super easy, great content, but nobody really completes anything. On the other hand, great immersive experience, very powerful to be with others, an instructor, but very risky, expensive, not for everyone, depending on where you live. And so what did we do? Well, we created Nucamp. We're really taking the best of both worlds, meaning the quality of education of online, the accessibility, the affordability, the flexibility. But then we take also the best of traditional education in making you part of a classroom. You have 12 classmates. You have a dedicated instructor. You have rigor. You have immersion. You're meeting with your classmates and your instructor live on Saturdays. So, and it's less than $2,000 for a 22 weeks bootcamp. So that's really what Nucamp is about and how you can think about us compared to everything else that you're seeing in the industry. And we're pretty unique, I will say. Plenty of questions. Thank you. We'll get to that in about 22 minutes now.
Nice.
All right, so Nucamp history. We were founded in 2017 in the state of Washington. We've had 9,000 unique students register either for the 4 weeks bootcamp or the longer one. We've launched 2,000 bootcamps. We've had 300 instructors working with us that are coming from the industry, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And we're delivering right now more than 100 workshops every Saturday throughout the US. And as I said, great student reviews and satisfaction out there on the internet. Okay, so what are the bootcamps that we have to offer, that we offer you? If you go to our website, you're going to find actually 4 different options, but let me actually break it down for you, depending on the type of student or learner that you are. If you're a total beginner, you're going to want to really follow the path that I'm showing you on this slide. You're going to start, and actually everyone will always start with the web development fundamentals. Why? Well, because it's going to give you the foundations of the developing on the web, and it's also only 4 weeks. So with that, you're going to be able to check a few things. You're going to check that you like coding, you're going to check that you like Nucamp. You're going to really learn all the basics that you're going to need to move forward. So that's going to be the first one I would encourage you to register to. And then because you're a beginner, you're going to want to register to the backend SQL and DevOps with Python bootcamp. That's where we're going to teach you the fundamentals of data structure, algorithm, programming languages with Python. And it's all going to be backend. We're going to teach you SQL. And then you're going to be able to actually extend your journey into the role of front-end development. If you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can do that. And you'll then also close the loop again on backend. So it's going to be really a full, kind of a roller coaster type of learning where you're going to learn the fundamentals, you're going to learn backend, then you're going to go back to front end, be excited about that, and then you're going to close the loop again on backend. So that's one path. The other path, if you are already familiar with data structure and algorithm, will be to start with the front end. So web dev again, 4 weeks, continue with the front end, and then full stack, and then end on the back end bootcamp.
I like that, closing the loop.
Yeah. All right. So when you're thinking about registering, you have different options. You have a interest-free payment plan. We call it the best deal because that's the one that's going to cost you the least amount of money. Or you can go to our partners, which are pretty much student loan providers, private student loan providers, all operating under the umbrella of Fair Student Agreement. And so these are the options. You can also register as a bundle, I would say, where you can register for web dev or finance, I would say, your education, including web dev and full stack in one go. So look that up on our website, the Fair Student Agreement, 100%, I will say, legal, no small footnotes or anything like that. In terms of your experience as a student or a learner, you're going to learn online through our learning platform from Sunday to Friday, and you're going to have clear instructions from your instructor on what to do each day. You're going to learn with your cohorts at the same time. You're going to reach out to your classmates, but it's going to be at your own pace. So if you're working nights, you're going to be able to learn in the morning or in the afternoon. If you're working 9 to 5, you're going to be able to learn before going to work or in the evening. It's going to be really at your pace so that it's going to fit your schedule. Then on Saturday mornings, though, that's when we have a dedicated and live session with your instructor from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. These sessions are extremely important. We make them mandatory. We make them mandatory because that's really the pinnacle of the experience. That's where everything is going to come together with the help of your instructor. It's going to come together because you're going to collaborate with the other students. And I've seen some questions here, but if you're thinking, okay, I may not be able to join those sessions, I don't know that I can do it. Well, if you miss too many of those sessions, you will be no better than just registering online to an online course without support, pretty much. So we really strongly encourage everyone to attend every session. It's okay to miss one or two, but more than that, we would really encourage you not actually to sign up. And then it's rinse and repeat. Every week, you're going to start another week of learning following the same schedule. Okay, we need to talk about our instructors because they're phenomenal. They are phenomenal because they are not working full-time with us. They are working part-time with us, and they are doing that on the side because they care, because they're passionate about giving their time back to the community. And they are also doing that because they're actually full-time working in the industry. They are working in startups, in Fortune 500, as freelancers, for the government, you name it. You're going to be exposed to a wide variety of different profiles. And the common trait is going to be They're doing it because they love to teach, they love to give back. And that's also why many of the reviews that we see from students are actually naming their instructor, saying, so and so was great, really helpful, etc. So that's very much a big differentiator. They're not working full time for New Camp. They're actually working part time on the side because they just want to do it. It's not for the money. And with that being said, that was kind of the end of my segment.
Mhm.
Zandra, I hand over the baton to you to talk about what it means to become a junior developer.
Yes, awesome. So definitely these days, it means that you know some JavaScript. That's for sure. Maybe back in the day, no, not so much, just HTML. Um, but now JavaScript is number one, and Python is creeping up there at number three for languages that a developer is going to need to know, or a junior developer is going to need to know to get into the industry. Um, the average salary across the nation is about 70K. It's going to vary a little bit, somewhat based on where you live, or um, if you're working for a nonprofit or if you're working for a huge corporation, there's going to be some variance, but that's average. And we also have a blog about getting jobs after Nucamp, after a boot camp. So we hope you can check that out at our website. Yeah, thanks very much. So your first step, your first foray, after you've done the fundamentals, will be into the full stack and mobile development course. So you're going to start out with a section on Bootstrap, and Bootstrap is just a way to make your sites responsive. So responsive means your site will respond to the size of the display that it's being shown on. So if you have a huge 4K TV, you're in the conference room, you're looking at a website during a meeting, you want the site to spread out, and you want the images to resize and not look the same way they would look on a little iPad or a little phone. That's responsiveness. So the Bootstrap framework is going to help you with that. Then you're going to move into the next section, which is React. Super exciting. Some of you out there may be already dipping your toe in the learning materials, and you're hearing this and that about React and what is it. And this is the super exciting part. So you can create those dynamic web pages. So it's not just a pretty looking website, but it actually changes and shows different pages to the user depending on what they input, and it generates those pages dynamically. So you'll get introduced to React, and you'll start building your own React project. You'll also polish up your JavaScript a little bit further. Then, after that section, you'll move into React Native. React Native is a framework that helps you with mobile apps, and it's cross-platform. So the beautiful thing there is you get to make an app that'll be on the App Store for iOS, or it'll be in the Play Store for Android, or maybe you'll launch it to one of those little underground app stores for Android, of which there are many. But in any case, React Native will be that layer that kind of talks to your mobile devices different different components, and instead of you having to learn Java or Swift or something like that. And then it'll get into the last part of the full stack bootcamp, which is a little bit on back end and using Node.js, Express, and MongoDB for your database. So you'll learn how to connect that responsive, dynamic mobile app to a database with all the different data that you're going to either provide to your user or your user is going to fill in, um, and also of course for websites as well. So that's pretty much an overview, and then you'll complete the circle. Ludo said, I love that. I'm going to steal that phrase. You will enter the backend SQL DevOps with Python course. And this is going to be super awesome because you're going to probably still be doing JavaScript on the side, brushing up your projects, maybe at work, maybe you'll start working a job and you'll still be in the course and doing Python and do the introduction to Python. So you'll learn the basics that you already covered in JavaScript of programming, but how to implement it in Python. And you'll go into how to answer some common challenges with code called algorithms, or sometimes they're code challenges that you might see at an interview or something like that. You'll learn how to tackle those, how to think about it in a different way, and how to think about the structure of the code. So it's super good, really fun and interesting, and very helpful for your career. Then you'll move into SQL or SQL, however you want to say it. You will, that structured query language, you're going to learn how to send commands to manipulate different things in a database, like almost like an Excel sheet. If you've ever used a Google Sheets or an Excel sheet, and they have all these different rows of data, you can kind of think of it like that. You'll learn how to type commands that will query those different sheets or rows, and delete them, move them around, do different things with them. And you'll learn how to use Python to do that, and you'll get a little bit of Flask, and I believe some Django in there too. And then you'll move into the last part of the course called the DevOps part. So you will be usually working with a team when you're a developer. I know some of you are here because you don't want to work with people anymore, but unfortunately, sorry to tell you, you always have to work with people, or at least a client. So you're going to be on a team, and the team is going to be building things and shipping things, and you need to be able to understand where you are in that life cycle of the build and the testing and deploying. Sometimes all three at once, and then you want to be able to deploy, actually um, launch your app. We call it deployment to a cloud service. So Nucamp actually is probably the only bootcamp out there, I think, that exposes the students to all three major cloud services: Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud. So that will be a really awesome boost for your resume. Um, yeah, and a nice way to bring it all home. All right, and we have some projects that you can take a look at. There's a nice URL there at our site. You can click on graduate stories, or job outcomes, and then click on graduate projects if you want to go into these more. But Ludo's going to show us one of these right now.
Yeah, my pleasure. So the thing that you need to know really is, as you learn to code using Python, using JavaScript, React, all of that should really be reflected in what we call a portfolio of projects. That's the thing that is going to make you win an interview with a hiring manager. That person is going to ask for your GitHub profile. They're going to ask about, what projects did you work on? Tell us about your projects. So we really go in depth with our students to make sure that they are prepared for that. And one way of doing it is asking our students who want to be part of what we call the honor graduation to record a 5-minute video practicing that pitch, practicing talking about their projects, what the project does, what was the challenge, all the challenges that they face, and how they actually overcame those. So let's go to that URL. And actually, I prepared it. Let me put it up. Where is it now? It
Awesome.
is here. There we go. So this is the URL you saw earlier. And let me pick, oh, this one is pretty good. This one is a mobile app developed in React. I don't know if you can hear it or not. But let me pause here. That app actually, Jonathan is working for the police. He's actually in charge of collecting evidence at crime scenes. kind of a CICS type of thing. And he really thought hard about building an app that will allow him to collect that evidence and actually create digital version of that evidence. Very inspiring. I encourage you to watch that video. He actually has, I think, an actual product on his hands. If he, I mean, he's going to continue to work on it. So that's one of those really, really good. Let me share with you another one that's pretty interesting as well. You can see there's plenty. Um, COVID vaccine with React. So that student worked in the state with the state of Washington, build to build an app that will actually help people find the location of where they can actually get a vaccine shot. And last time we talked, he was actually going to build that app for the state of New York as well. So again, something very exciting for him. And I guess last but not least, there was one. Oh, the chess. Oh, this one I'm not going to spend too much time, but you should check out
Many good
this
ones.
one, Chess with Node. Yeah, there's plenty, but one actually has. Oh, there you go. Really nice UI. It's a Pokemon game. This one is 100% React, so not mobile, but really web. And I want to show you the UI. There you go. So
The
very
animations are
cool
pretty good
UI.
too. Yeah.
There you go. So it's a fully functional Pokemon game. So yeah, I mean, check out the list. It's growing every week, and you could actually find a good inspiration there as well. Back to you, Sandra.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. So we hope you take a look at some of those, and we hope you see yourself creating those in your mind's eye, visualizing your goal. So if you're ready to go and you're thinking about signing up, you can do that. Don't forget to catch our early bird deadline, early bird discount. That's going to be the last day for that Monday coming up. This Monday, the 23rd. And you can just go on nucamp.co, click on your location, or you can change your community if it's not the right location for you. And you can also register by time zone. And Monday is the last discount day. So thanks very much there. The next one we want to talk about is scholarships. So we do offer some scholarships. Go to nucamp.co, click on financing, and there's a sub menu for scholarships. And there might be one that you are qualified for. So you want to go through and read the description on those, click on those cards, and see if you qualify. There have steps nicely laid out so you can see how to apply. Step 1, step 2, step 3. It's all written out there. For high school graduates within the past, I believe it's 2 years, but it should say there, we have a fund for you. There's the New Year Scholarship if you've been denied within the past year for an educational loan. And there's also the Warrior Rising Scholarship for veterans and active duty members. And then there's also the Reskill America Scholarship in partnership with Career Karma for those who've been adversely affected by the COVID-19 situation, by the pandemic. So there's a lot of options there. Please take a look. All right on. Back to you there, Ludo.
Yeah, so there's a few questions about what we do for career services. We offer extensive career services at the end of either the full stack bootcamp or the Python bootcamp. Um, we have 6 career services. I'll get to that in a minute. Our employment rate, we're calculating it very transparently. We're asking 2 questions. The first one is, are you employed? The second is, are you applying your tech skills to your job? Those 2 questions really make that number of 78%. We ask that question to our graduates 4 times a year. We collect the surveys automatically. And so you will actually see on our website that number, 738 survey answers changing every day. We also keep track of the historical data. So right now, and this is actually, I've just grab that screenshot from yesterday. So this is our current month to date employment rate, 78%, based on the total of 738 surveys. And we have a graduation rate of 73% as well. That number is, if you make it through the first 5 weeks, you have 73% chances of graduating. So let's talk about our career services. You have one-on-one career advisor support, 30 minutes once a week. You schedule the call. You can review your LinkedIn. You can review your GitHub. You can get prepared for tech interviews. That's actually offered for free right now. We're still able to offer it for free. Maybe at some point we won't be able to absorb the cost, but so far so good. It's still offered for free. We have a job board for alumni. It's on our Slack channel, and we actually scout the internet and reach out to people, and they actually tell us, yes, we want to hire Nucamp graduates. It's that specific. So we post that information, and I mean, there's a huge ratio of success, of course, for those positions. We have a 6-week career development program that's available to you. Hackathons, really our graduates love the hackathons in partnership with MintBean. If you don't know them, you should know them. They're really a cool partner of ours. We pay for your LinkedIn premium membership 1 month, and then you have lifetime access to everything, pretty much. The content, the community, it's there for you all the time. And really, people appreciate that. So that's kind of the thing right now. We write great success stories from our students once a week. Actually, if you go to our website, that link here, let me actually put it up again. Let me actually show you. If you go here, graduate stories, you're going to find all those stories published here. Marisa is the latest one. And I look, it seems like my connection is not that great. So I hope you've been hearing me okay. I mean, the time
Yeah,
it
I'm
takes to
hearing you
download the
fine.
pictures here. Okay, perfect. So yeah, there you'll have tons of
I really like those graduate
stories.
stories.
Yeah, they're really cool. The team really has a lot of fun interviewing the student as well, the graduate, and hearing from them. I think that's going to be it. So right on time, Zendra, or kind of 2 minutes behind, I guess. We are ready for your questions. We are going to go through the chat from YouTube, from Facebook. I haven't seen any from LinkedIn. I don't know if you can text or message us on LinkedIn, but we are broadcasting live to all 3 platforms right now. Let me maybe start with Zendra. Let me start with Turtle Wolf, who's been
You
asking
got
3
in there
questions.
early,
Yeah, exactly. So let me kind of go through those real quick, and then you'll tell me
playing around.
yeah. So we're teaching Bootstrap 4.5. Bootstrap was just released, like for real, like I think 2 months ago. The difference is very minimal. It's very much under the hood. They've removed jQuery, which actually is not a bad thing to learn, even though it's kind of an old technology. There's so many websites out there, so many companies that have jQuery code. It's not a bad idea to learn it. I mean, you don't want to build your career on it, but so yeah, we're sticking with
To
Bootstrap
learn it
4.5.
for
Yeah,
for Stack Overflow because
yeah,
someone's going to
exactly.
answer your question with jQuery.
That's right. Okay, next one is stop pausing missing a payment. Yes, yes, yes. You can stop. You can pause. You can actually reschedule, miss a payment. Uh, we kind of allow those type of things. In-person optional. Well, it's kind of only online right now, so it's not even optional. It's not available to you. We are 100% online. Cottage credit? No. The answer is no. There's no transfer of our certificate to cottage credits. All right. What else do you
So
see
we
here?
got Darius at 5:45. I guess it's not 5:45. It's what time
Eight,
is it by you?
yeah, 8:45
after
for me, but
yeah,
yeah,
after the turtle wolf.
yeah.
Um, what's the weekly schedule? So we kind of touched on that in the slide. You probably heard the answer, but you study during the week at your own schedule. So we recommend at least a couple of hours a day. You'll want to put in more, depending on your aptitude and which section of the course you're in. And then on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the time that you've registered, the area that you've registered, will be the Saturday live workshop. So they'll be conducted by your instructor. It's 4 hours long. And following the coursework, you'll want to finish the certain each week's material before the Saturday workshop.
Yeah, there's another question from Darius on the Saturday workshops, and there's been a lot of questions on that one. So it is mandatory, although we are understanding if you miss a couple, but you really want to be able to attend those. That's where most of the value is, or a ton of value, I would say, is. So if you can't attend any workshops, you really want to reconsider actually signing up with us. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're buying a convertible and you never take the top down. Like, why did you even buy a convertible?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Uh, Another one from
So,
Darius here. How necessary is web dev fundamentals? Uh, it's not a requirement. What the requirement is to answer the test. Let me actually find that one. So here's the test here. Go to this URL. So url.nucamp.co/test yourself. If you pass with 85% correct answers, you are deemed proficient enough to start with the full stack bootcamp. Uh, if you don't, that's when we really encourage you to take the 4 weeks bootcamp first.
nice. So, seems like we answered Craig's question about traveling. If you have some travel already booked, um, you might be able to miss a couple of workshops, but if you're going to miss any more than that, you might want to push your schedule back a little bit. And a niche at the 55-minute mark before we started,
Yeah.
completely new to the field. How effective is this course to someone like me? So it's definitely designed for beginners, especially the fundamentals course, the 4-week course. And the good thing about the 4-week course is it's going to give you that preview of your life as a coder, see if it's for you, kind of dip your toe in and see, I'm a beginner, but I'm getting this and I can really see myself continuing. Um, and it starts from the beginning, how are web pages served, how does your computer kind of talk to other computers. It kind of starts from the basics. So um, it should be quite effective.
Yeah, that's very, very fair. Giselle is asking for the people who are not in the USA, what do we need to be aware of? Is it just about the Saturday workshop? Pretty much indeed. Something to point out regarding the Saturday workshops is they are um, being held in 3 different time zones, and it's 9 a.m. time zone. So if you're living on the East Coast and want to wake up too early, you can actually register to the Pacific time zone and just wake up three hours later. Same thing if you're living, outside of the US, you can pick your time zone in a way that works the best for you. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you'll register in US dollars with a credit card, and so as long as you can do that and you can attend the Saturday workshop, you'll be fine.
Nice. So, good question. What kind of computer system at the 59-minute mark?
Yep,
That's a good one.
from
So,
SW software, I guess.
yes, SW. Yeah, exactly. So you want to have as good a system as you can afford, and you want to have it to be 8 gigabytes of RAM at least, um, as a minimum. You want to have a solid state drive. You don't want to have the old mechanical ARM magnetic HDD hard drive. You want to have a processor that's an i5 or equivalent or above or better. So you also want to make sure it's Windows or Mac. We do see people coming with Chromebooks, and we're not going to be able to support you effectively with the Chromebook.
That's right. So Elias asked a few questions. I think some of those we're not really necessarily in the best position to answer, but the Django Flask one, typically go to Stack Overflow. They have a survey there. We actually use their survey, and they're going to tell you how popular Django and Flask is. It's pretty popular as a Python framework. In the world of
Mhm.
frameworks, they're not the most popular, but super popular for Python. And then let me actually clear some of those. That question, mostly small companies, startup or big corps using it as well. I don't know. I think you'll have to do your research here with regard to Django and Flask. It's used across the board, um, and our graduates find jobs, I would say, also across the board. So
Mhm.
let's let's finish on this one, and then we'll go back to Nicole's question. We're teaching Postgres in the Python
Mhm.
course, in the Python bootcamp. That's going to be Postgres,
Gonna be
not
more
MySQL.
powerful too, isn't it? Yeah.
That's right, because Postgres does relational database, but also gives you a foot into the world of data science, data analytics. So you learn one, database technology to do both, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, you want to take that one from Nicole? I think very
Yes.
similar to.
So it's a tough situation. 10 years old is kind of, you might run into some problems. And when, especially when you're installing VS Code, I don't think it's going to like that. Um, you want to challenge your machine, and you want to look at the specifications for the hardware at our FAQ page at our website. Like, what kind of laptop should I have? There's a list there. There's also some links to some possible options for purchase. Um, you want to really challenge your machine. Like, just open everything up, try to install VS Code before if you're thinking of trying to move forward with that. But I would recommend against it. Try to borrow one if you can. Um, but definitely, if you're gonna invest in it, try to invest in it early. Bite the bullet.
Yeah, it's a good point. Let me try to answer Tia Rowe's question. How much experience do you need in order to get started so that you are successful? I'll try to answer using an analogy. If you are really brand new, think about starting to learn to code as getting into a rocket ship before it's gonna be pushed out of the atmosphere into space. You're gonna you're gonna take uh, s- several G's, and it's gonna feel insane because it's gonna be so hard at first, and then it's gonna be okay. What people do to be able to sustain that moment where you're gonna be, just starting to learn and you're taking all those G's, they're practicing before, and they're practicing on their own, you know, and that means that when they're in the rocket ship and they experience those G's, it's not new to them. They've experienced it, they can handle it, and we're going, out of the atmosphere pretty safely and easily. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're a total beginner, it's always a good idea to start online. You know, practice, learn to read code, learn to read an exercise, uh, do a hello world type of thing on your own. Like, spend a few months learning on your own. Or the 4 weeks bootcamp, I would say, can help you and can prepare you. But still, if you're really 100% brand new to, you know the idea of coding, it's gonna be rough for the week 2 and week 3 and week 4. So, how much experience? Well, it depends. Are you trained? Are you feeling ready to take all those G's? Because if you are, you can actually get in there, take the G's, and you'll get through the atmosphere into space. Um, but you really have to be ready for this. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like that cooking class analogy too.
Oh
So if
yeah,
someone tells you they want to take a culinary course, it's like, well, have you ever tried to make some toast or make some eggs, or get
yeah,
try the basic Hello World, like Ludo said. Go on YouTube, look at some free stuff, and see, like, Okay, now I want to take the fundamentals 4 weeks.
Yeah. Um,
Mhm.
Question from Dome. After completing bootcamp, what level? Sorry, after completing the Python bootcamp, at what level will I be in Python? You will be pretty advanced. Although I would say what distinguishes you from being an intermediate to advanced is really how much work and how much project you've made. Not so much how much you've learned. I mean, how much you've learned, especially in the coding bootcamp, is going to make you dangerous and hireable. But really, the concept of advanced comes with practice and projects. So I'll say you'll be pretty dangerous. You'll be hireable, depending on how much work you've put into your projects. You may be advanced as well, but that's going to be then really that uh, practice applying your skills into projects.
Awesome. Don't do this in production.
I don't
Yes.
know what
So
it's about. Don't do what in production? Do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't
I guess
change your
we'll never
code in
know.
production.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe it was what I was talking about. I don't know.
Hmm. Let's see. Some experience. Yeah, Wendy, we pretty much just answered your question. Um, at Saturday, Kimberly, we kind of answered your question, except recordings part. Yeah. So
Yeah,
there won't be. Oh yeah, please go ahead
no,
there,
go for
Ludo.
it. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, yeah, there won't be recordings. So again, to stay with the cooking class analogy, not to beat a dead horse, but you could have a 4 hour cooking course, but if you missed it, the recording wouldn't help you that much because you have to have your hands in the dough. You got to smell the food, and you got to taste it, and you have to know when to take things out of the oven just the right moment. So yes, the recording might be helpful in certain circumstances, but for various reasons we don't record it anyway. So it wouldn't even be very helpful to you, and it's not available. So again, please consider your schedule. But good question.
Angel has a business suggestion for us, saying that we should post our lectures on YouTube, and then we'll get more money from YouTube generated ads, I guess. Um, Never thought of that. I am kind of on YouTube quite a while, and I've seen YouTubers sharing how much they're making. It's not that attractive, to be honest with you. Like millions and millions and millions of views will get you one, 2,000, $3,000. So I don't know that will get very far, but
Yeah,
it's an
I don't think we'd.
interesting idea.
Yeah. So let's see. Maybe we could release in a few years, release the old lectures, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So certifications. Getting a job without a degree
yeah.
from 14 minutes.
Timothy.
Yes, Timothy, you can get a job without a degree. You can see our graduate stories. Um, some in the industry are stuck in the kind of old ways of hiring, but we're even seeing the major companies admitting that it doesn't matter. If you can code and you have projects and you have some, skills that they need, they will, they will hire you. So the thing is, you want to be able to show something. You got to show something to the hiring managers or to the recruiters. So you want to show your projects, and you'll get a certificate of completion from us, which will be great that you could show. But the real thing is you want to code every day and do some projects.
Very true. B, the letter B. If I self study, can I skip the fundamentals class? Um, Not having enough money for the full thing. Yes, you can. The Again, let me actually put that URL. Take the test. If you pass it with 85% correct answers, you can go straight to full stack or Python. If you don't, you can also learn what is needed to learn on your own online. The 4 weeks bootcamp is really our way to help the community get ready. It's not the only way by any means. So yeah, check this out.
Hmm. And Crescentic at 15 minutes. We kind of answered you already, local time zone. So yes, even though we're online now, the classes are going to be in the time zone of wherever you register?
Yeah,
Good
and we
question.
have Trizantic. Only interested in backend with Python. Can I skip everything else? Yes, you can. You actually can.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, V. Samuels. Is my mic okay now? Turn off
I
your
don't know
mic.
if it was you or me. I don't know.
Let's
Do they
see.
answer questions during this, or do uh, I guess that question is already answered, isn't it?
You there, B? Let's see. Bootstrap 5. Yes. Bootstrap 4. A lot of questions about Saturdays, huh?
Yeah. Let me jump into
Let's see.
29 minutes here. Uh, so the Ryer Rising Scholarship. So the scholarship is pretty much we are taking off one tuition payment. So it's about like I'll say $400 worth, something like that. So that's if you go to the page, you'll actually see how it's work. It's one tuition payment is removed um, from the total tuition.
Well, good.
Princeton's done.
Yeah, how will we be able to communicate with our peers and instructors? We use a lot of Slack. So some of you might already be familiar with Slack chat app. It's really, if you're not, it's great because a lot of companies and teams use Slack. Um, some of them use Microsoft Teams, of course, but you want to familiarize yourself with Slack. So during the bootcamp, you will be able to. We also have a forum in the learning portal where you can communicate with just your cohort. Um, You'll be, of course, able to communicate with them on Zoom during the live session on Saturdays, and your instructor will also answer your inquiries during the week as well.
That's right. Let me answer. There's two questions around, integrating tech certs into our bootcamps. So we teach development, Python development, JavaScript development, and there's actually no certification for that. We do teach, cloud providers, Microsoft, Google, AWS, but we don't cover it in a way that will allow you to take a certification. I mean, you will have to just have a whole bootcamp to actually train you for the certification, and that's not what it's about. This is about really getting a job, not getting a certification. There's a ton of people saying they actually can't attend Saturday workshops, and I think that's something we will probably think about and maybe see if we can do something about that. um, Shaquille is asking if we have any reviews or success stories to share with regard to the backend Python DevOps bootcamp. At this time, we don't, and for a very good reason is we just started it
Shaquille,
last month. Oh, you know Shaquille?
yeah, we spoke briefly on the phone. I
Oh,
think he's a
cool.
registered friend.
Nice. Yeah, so we
Mhm.
don't yet. We just started. The first cohort started 2 weeks ago, actually. So we'll have stories and reviews in about 3 months from now. The first ones.
Mhm. Yeah. So if you're an early adopter, hop on that train.
There you go.
Okay, let's see. Remote part-time jobs at 6:30 at the 33-minute mark from Elizabeth Acosta Rios. So yeah, I get that a lot on the phone, and a lot of people are looking into development because they want to work from home. Um, and yes, there are remote, not so much part-time, but you could freelance. That's definitely remote and flexible part-time. That's a big option. Um, it's a little hard to get a remote job from your first job out the gate because there's the trust issue sometimes. But depending on your professional experience up until now, maybe you can show a trustworthy track record, or you can get hired at a previous employer or something like that. So you might be able to get into remote, and we help you. Your career coach can help you with your job search as well.
Great. Let me answer this question from Alabunch by actually sharing the slides again as well. So let me go back And the question
Thank
is,
you
okay,
for calling me a
which
young lady. Job a
and
la
me,
bunch.
Ludu. I'm Ludu.
Hmm.
So this, there we go. So two path. If you're a complete beginner, we recommend you do web dev, backend, then full stack. And by the way, you don't have to do it. Both backend and full stack will prepare you for a job, but that will be the, if you're thinking about going through it, the full thing, that will be the path. If you're a complete beginner, web development fundamentals, then backend, then full stack. One of the reason is we'll teach you data structure and algorithm here, and so you'll want to know that before moving on. If you
Yeah,
already are
but
familiar with that,
mhm,
for more advanced learners, so someone who's really spent some time already, doing some programming, being quite familiar with data structure and algorithm,
mhm.
you'll just flip the last two. You'll do web dev, full stack, backend, because then it's just front end then to back end, smoother, not a roller coaster.
Hmm. And then you
There
can
we go.
you can take that test that Ludo already passed
That's right.
the link to as well.
Yeah, not even
Okay.
actually start with HTML with web dev.
Hmm.
Um, uh,
Let's see.
Another question from Shaquille: do you cover Unix, Linux for DevOps? So we support from our curriculum both Windows and Linux uh, as operating machines. So we don't cover it per se, but it's part of our instructions. So if you have a Linux machine, you'll be able to go through it. If you have a Windows machine, you'll be able to go through it.
Mm. Yeah, and your command line will be very similar too, because we use
Yeah.
git bash too if you have Windows. So you'll learn the Unix commands. You'll learn like, terminal. Okay, so let's see. More Saturdays, yeah. Sush Sushanth Babu at 37 minutes. Already in tech, and you want to have a course that would help with the basics. Hmm. So I think, yeah, if you it's pretty much the same thing. If you maybe you're already in QA or something like that, um, try the fundamentals course if you don't know any, if you're not real familiar with JavaScript or if you don't know any CSS or anything like that. If you want, you can test out of that as well. But definitely software engineering, you're going to be enjoying the Python course and the data structures and algorithms.
Great. Let me, we're 3 minutes away from the end. So let me kind of skip through and see which ones we haven't addressed yet. Is there an age limit? Yes, minimum is 18 years old.
Mhm. Shout out
Greetings.
to New Zealand. Hey.
Yeah, so that. Should we have two screens? It's super helpful. Like I have two screens myself right now, even though I'm traveling. Once you start learning or working with two screens, it's hard to go back to just one.
Mm.
Um, okay. Um, can we ban people here? There we go. Okay, all
So
right.
Jay
Uh,
Summers, yes, you will be able to develop mobile apps from the full stack class.
yes, React Native is for that. Yeah, even at the question as well here, do you teach mobile development with Expo? Exactly, that's what we do.
Yep.
Um, yes, we do teach push notifications. Jeez,
The
that person on
70.
Facebook is angry, and I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
Anyway,
I think I
all
skipped a
right.
I think I skipped a bunch there.
Yeah. Oh,
Um
so sorry. Fancy, fancy pants. I gotcha. Um, yes. So not so students are doing full stack and then back end back to back right now. Like we have a ton of postgraduates who have registered for back end, or actually, we had something very special for them. They've been enrolled for free. Um, kind of a thanks and gratitude to our past graduates. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of people really wanting to do both. Not at the same time, though. You can't. You cannot do both at the same time.
Hmm.
Uh, oh
Very
my God,
funny.
I have not paid for any of this. Okay, we'll deal with Jack Sangster on the side. I don't know what it's about. It's been
Oh, okay.
hacked. Yeah.
Oh no.
Um, uh,
Let's see. The link for the test, I missed it. You can
yes.
catch
I
that, Mohammed
let me.
F. 55 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can also see our FAQ page at our website to find that
that's right.
um, assessment.
Okay, I think we're gonna be able to go through it. Jonathan Im, thank you. Sometimes we do have people or students joining those streams, and so I'm guessing Jonathan is one of them.
Shout out.
Thank you for sharing your feedback, Jonathan. Let me
Mhm.
see what else, and then we're gonna wrap this up.
And Carl Jules at 55 minutes. Yes, there's a recording of
Yeah.
this. You can, if you missed anything, if you came in late, you can watch.
Oh, okay. That's not the one I was thinking. But all right. So, hey, we're actually past the hour. Thank you, Zandra, as always, for joining me. Thank you, everyone who attended. Don't forget to sign up for the Web Development Fundamentals. The early bird rate ends on Monday. And after
Hmm.
that, it's going to be either paying $50 more, which is kind of still fine, or wait another 5 weeks. So don't forget, register. And I hope to see you all on Slack. Take care. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye bye.